Hi everyone, Linda here, the scrapbooking photographer. Today I am joining in on a YouTube hop for Christmas. It's the first time I've joined this hop. It's run by Maura O'Reilly and it's a hop that goes live on the 25th of every month to try and get some Christmas photos done before the big day this year. So I have found a sketch from the Creative Scrapbooker magazine and it is perfect for what I wanted to put together. So I'll put a link to this Facebook group into my description, as well as the Christmas hop. If you want to join along, you're more than welcome. So the papers I'm using today are from the Close to My Heart range, Home for Christmas. And the two that I have chosen are these two, which I think go quite nicely together. The photos are all food related. We had a lovely day on the 11th of December 2022 and we were very fortunate to have a grazing lunch menu that was catered for us. So we had some delightful salads and breads and chutneys and little pots of different things to choose from and desserts. Now the only additional thing to the desserts was one of my dishes. I was told that I needed to take some caramel pies, which is a family favourite of ours. So I thought that that theme would work quite well with the sketch, with the menu here and the food in these squares here. And I also thought that when the time comes, I can flip it and make a double page and so reverse it and have these on the left closest to the spine and have people's faces with a hero photo over on the right. So I won't do that page today, I'll save that for another day, but I will complete this page today. So the first thing we have to do is to get these photos the right size. So I'm just going to strategically chop bits out. These are all 4x6s, so I've got plenty of room to get 6 or 8 2x2s. So I will just whip away and do that and then come back to put the layout together. Right, so I've got, this is slightly bigger than the 3x4 that the sketch says, but I couldn't really cut any more off it. But I have dissected the other photos to get 7 2x2s, and actually I really like the way it kind of zeroes in on the main part of the photo without all the extra periphery, so that will give a nice selection of what we had from the menu. So on the sketch they have the most patterned paper at the back, so I'm going to use that at the back and then a strip of this throughout. But I'm also going to mount these photos in candy apple just to bring a little bit of that colour back into the front piece there. So as you can see, if I just put a little bit of that under there, it just kind of lifts it a little bit, particularly with the red in the menu writing. Right, so the first thing we have to do is take the zip strips off these two pieces. The zip strips are really good because they tell us what colours coordinate with the paper packs, and sometimes it shows you a colour that you wouldn't have even thought of. And on one side you have the colours and on the other side you have something that is actually quite useful. So we might use one of the zip strips when we come to doing some final decoration. So in the sketch this would be the base page. I'm actually just going to take a slither off it and put the candy apple behind it so that we get that reinforced behind as well as in front. So I'm just going to take an inch off two sides. So having done that, if I bring the candy apple in, you can see how that's going to give us quite a wide border. So that's a ½ an inch all the way round, having taken an inch off two sides. So then this lovely wooden panel is just going to blend really nicely in there. Okay, so I made that 5 inches deep, and I'm going to bring it in the same distance, a 1/2 inch from here, and so I wanted a 1/2 inch from here also. Now that is going to mean it needs to be, because it's 12 by 12, it needs to be 2 inches cut off one side. Okay, then I'm going to put this in here. Now to get the candy apple to mount these things in, I'm going to gut this back piece, which is just cut the middle out of there. I know I only need a 1/2 inch showing around the outside, so I'll come in 1 inch and do that all the way around. Normally I would leave a little more, but because I know I want something to go around the back of the 8 little photos, I just want to make sure I've got enough. Okay. So I will just go ahead and mount this. Just to get rid of that white bit, because we've got a white core on the inside and a slightly blunt blade, I'm just going to rub around the outside with the candy apple ink. And that will just help to highlight it even more, and also get rid of that white piece. Okay. Cool. Okay, you'll notice in here there's also 2 little spots for a wee bit of journaling. So I need to get 2 little squares to write on as well. And I think what I might do is do a red mount, which will be 2, 4, 6, 8 inches plus a 1/2 inch to give me an 1/8 at each end. So that will be 8.5 long and 2, 4.5 wide. And again, go around the outside. And then we can dot these and play with these and get them in the right sort of order. Now they butt up against each other so that you've got the continuous kind of montage. Down the bottom. Okay, now obviously that needs to be lined up, so that's the first thing we need to do, is to get these things mounted on here. Now this one we might do on the mat, just because we want it to be evened up. So we know we've left 1/4 inch on either side, so if we line this up nice and straight, it will be a guide as to where we can put our photos. Now I'm going to put this on this side actually, so we go in. So I'm not putting them down too harsh to start with, just so that we can move them if we need to. That's about right. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom and do the same thing, coming in 1/4 inch there, and just tentatively popping that down, and then its neighbour. Okay, and then we've got these 2 here, which we can just pop on top. Now if they touch in the middle, that's good, and then we just get that little gap there to write in. Right, so that's okay, so we can put them down a bit stronger. Now we'll pop this onto the background. I have been watching this hop for a few months now, and my friend Mel from Mel W Scrapping put me onto it, and I have been trying to get to it and just haven't had a chance. But this month, that sketch from the Creative Scrapbookers magazine just hit home really, and I had the time and the photos already printed, ready to go. So thank you, Mel, for helping me get started on this. Right, so now we can put this image on here, and then this one. It's a bit of a squeaky tape runner, hey? Sorry about that. On there. Now, I'm just going to move this over a bit. That's why I don't stick anything down too hard to start with, because I always end up shifting it. There we are, that one's straight, and that one. All right, cool. So I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling in there. Okay, so my journaling's finished, and now I'm just going to do a title, and it's going to be Xmas Food. So 4 letters at the top and 4 at the bottom. And I think the best way to do that is going to be by using the die cuts here, and using the same brown floorboard paper that we've used behind here, and that will just break those poinsettias up a little bit and bring in a little bit more of that rich colour in there. So I'm just working out whether to go that way, but I think I'll go that way because the grain of the paper is going that way, which is the same as the background. Now, can we do it in one go? We can't, because we need 2 O's for a start. I know some people don't like the word Xmas, but it's a lot more convenient in something like this than having the whole word Christmas, so it just wouldn't fit. Now on this, sometimes I don't really bother about where the letters go, but in this case I am, because I want that wood grain to kind of flow through okay. So we'll just leave a gap there, and I can do the O. I'll be able to see where the O comes in. So then if I put the top plate on there, I can go and cut that out. Okay, so we've got that, and we'll just get this all off here. And we'll do our O in that gap there. Right, because this is paper and not cardstock, it's slightly thinner. So what I'm actually going to do is use a piece of normal cardstock and cut them out again, just to give them a little bit of height. So I've chosen a mocha colour cardstock to do the underneath, and I'm also cutting 2 layers out just to give it a little bit extra substance. Right. So you can see here we've got 2 O's. So I'm going to have it 3 thickness, so it's just a matter of sticking those 3 pieces together. So I like the way they look, but I think they would look better if they were highlighted a bit more with a bit of red underneath. So what I'm going to do is use this piece of scrap from our underneath, which is just wide enough, and cut 2 pieces that are the same length as this photo mount here, and mount the photos on that. Now, did I say mount the photos or mount the letters? I meant mount the letters, obviously. Oops. So again, just doing it ever so lightly to start with to make sure we get them straight and kind of even. You can always move them if we need to. Okay, that looks pretty good. Nice and centralised, so I can go and put those down. Then I'll do the same with the Xmas up the top, and they fit nicely, but before I can stick either of those pieces of red down, I do go around the outside of them with the candy apple, like I did for the mount before, just to get rid of those white little pieces of core that show through. Once they're stuck in, I can get my few embellishments ready. Now this is the glue I'm showing you at the moment, which I use to stick down things that are glittery, because the glitter cardstock is incredibly hard to stick with just double-sided tape. So initially I thought I didn't need too many embellishments, so I left it just with those few little glitter ones, and then added some silver stickles down the sides of the 2 red pieces there. And initially I thought that was going to be the finish of the page, because the poinsettias are quite busy, so I wasn't sure that we needed anything else. But it sort of stayed in my mind overnight, and I woke up thinking about the digital artwork that I have with this collection, and so I decided to cut out a couple of doilies to use here, and I unstuck the glitter embellishments, which you can see left a bit of a tear because that glue is so good, but I'm going to cover that tear up again with the same embellishments. But I just think the doily underneath with the mocha just softens those edges just a little bit more, and I can do it on the bottom right and on the top left. Things always go well in 3s, and I will include a 3rd doily on the right hand page when I do it. I mentioned earlier in the video that I would be doing a companion page by flipping this design over to the other side, so I'll include a 3rd doily on the right hand side to complete that visual triangle. In the meantime, that gives me a little place to land a couple more stars. So a nice big silver one up on the top left, and then a 3rd one I'm going to add down onto the bottom right. And that's this page complete. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed what I've come up with. Please do check out what everybody else has done on the Christmas in September YouTube hop. And I'll leave you with a few close-ups. Thanks for watching everybody, and happy crafting.